Here's a quick explanation of the difference between the basic peel3d software that comes with every peel scanner, free, and the peel2CAD software, which is a set of scan to CAD functions activated by the peel2CAD dongle. So when peel3d software starts up, this is the splash screen that you will see. And when peel2CAD software starts up, that is, you have the dongle in your computer when you start Peel software, this is the splash screen that you will see. So here I've opened peel3d, the basic Peel software, with our part that we frequently scan. And the first thing you can see is that at the level of the scan, you have basic entities and basic alignments. These are the basic entities that you can create. And these are the basic alignments that you can make with those entities. These entities, when you create them, cannot be exported. And this is true for the mesh. So if I turn off the scan and just show the mesh, again, you only have basic entities. You can only add the basic entities, and you can only add basic alignments to a mesh. So I can create a cylinder using the surface selection tool in here. You'll create a perfectly good cylinder, and that cylinder will appear in my list of entities under the scan. I'm also going to create a plane, and I'm going to create that by picking on this end plate. And I'm now going to create a second plane that is an offset from the first plane. I'm going to offset from plane 1, and I'm going to offset it into roughly the middle of this hole and create that. And this is what these entities can be used for. For instance, there is a cut by plane function. So I could certainly cut this object by plane 2 and show you a preview of that. So that is one use for these entities. And I can also mirror the object around the plane. So there's a mirror around the plane that I chose. So these entities can be used for that sort of use, and also for the alignments. For instance, you would create a plane, a line, and a point to do a plane, line, point alignment of the coordinate system. I'm now going to restart my Peel software with the dongle in the USB port of the computer, so I should restart in peel2CAD. So you get the splash screen with the racing seat with the grid on it. Here is the same part opened in peel2CAD, and you can see that at the scan level, you've still got basic entities and basic alignments. These are if you want to align your scan. But at the mesh level, you've now got access to a larger set of entities that have different ways of creating them, including multiple planes, cross sections. You have a surfacing module, which you didn't have in basic Peel, and that creates NURB surfaces. You have a larger set of alignments that you can perform as well. And you still have all of the the mesh functions that you had in the original Peel. So what this means is you can now create entities on these parts, and these entities can be exported. So you're basically able to do scan to CAD. So we can start with, for instance, selecting a cylinder here, and we can add a plane. In fact, we can add several planes. That's a good plane for the top of that hole. And I'll select another one here for this surface. Create that plane. And finally, we're going to create a couple of cones. As this is a plastic part, almost all molded plastic parts do not have cylindrical parts. They have slightly conical parts in order to be able to extract them from the mold. Here's another cone. And here is one here as well. And so on and so forth. So we can imagine that we can go and identify all the entities that we can extract from our part, but we can also do NURB surfaces of the whole part. That's these. So I'm going to do a manual surface just on this part of the side of this plastic part. And there it's created its best fit NURB surface. I can go back and improve that fit by increasing the number of control points. So I'm going to put it to 16 and ask for a recalculation. And that's a better fit NURB surface. So I'm going to create that NURB surface. So now we have a few examples of entities that have appeared in our mesh, and all of these entities can be exported. So you can export them one by one or multiple, and you can export them in the typical formats used by CAD/CAM programs. IGESTEP, CSV is not so popular, and DXF for Autodesk. So that is the difference, essential difference between peel3d and peel2CAD. You have access to all of these entities and NURB surfacing and more sophisticated alignments, and you can export them all to CAD programs.